Ever wish you could, like, download communication skills,
Yeah.
like, straight into your brain?
Right.
Well, today's deep dive is the next best thing. Seriously.
Oh, tell me more.
We're diving into Rohit Bassi's Beyond Words, a journey to mindful public speaking. And trust me, this isn't just for like big speeches and stuff. It's about connecting authentically in like any NY conversation.
Yeah, it's interesting how Bassi blends those practical techniques with this almost like meditative approach to communication.
Right. He even redefines communication itself.
Oh, how so?
He says it's hold on, let me get it right. The art of transmitting ideas, thoughts, information, feelings, and emotions that involve listening as much as speaking to create a balanced dialogue.
Wow, that's actually really profound. It really highlights the shift we've been seeing towards empathy in communication. It's not just about getting your point across. It's about really understanding where the other person is coming from.
Totally. And that can be tough.
For sure.
Bassi uses this great example in the book, like imagine you're presenting a new project at work, right?
Okay, yeah.
An optimistic person on the team might be all about the potential of the project, while someone more cautious is fixated on the risks.
Well, I've totally been in that situation.
Same message, totally different worlds.
Exactly. And that's why understanding your audience is so important. And it's not just about demographics, it's about their values, their concerns, the whole picture.
It's like that saying, people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
Ugh, that's so true.
Okay, that's going on a motivational poster in my office. But seriously, it's so true. And speaking of being genuine, the book is big on authenticity.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, in a world of super polished presentations and everything being perfect online, being real is what actually grabs people.
Yeah, it's refreshing. He actually says, authenticity is your greatest ally. In a world filled with scripted talks and rehearsed speeches, authenticity stands out. We've all heard those speakers, right? Where it's like, wow, they're so relatable. I feel like I could just grab coffee with them. That's authenticity at work.
Ugh, yes. Okay, so ready for that coffee date right now. And the book has this fun exercise, The Mirror of Communication. Have you heard of this one?
Yeah, I've done it before. It's really interesting.
So you basically talk to yourself in a mirror for a minute about something you're like really passionate about.
It's amazing what you notice about your body language and tone when you actually see yourself doing it. We're often so unaware of how much we're conveying non-verbally.
It's such a light bulb moment. Okay, so we've got connection and authenticity down. Next up, Bassi compares public speaking to something kind of cool.
Oh, what's that?
Dancing. He says you lead, but you also follow, you plan, but you also improvise.
I like that. It's so true. That's what he calls adaptability, right? He defines it as tailoring your message to suit different contexts by audience where they are and tailoring messages to resonate with different perspectives.
You've got it.
I once saw a speaker handle a tech fail during their presentation, and instead of freaking out, they just made a joke about it and then seamlessly moved on. It was masterful.
Talk about thinking on your feet. Speaking of which, Bassi has this adaptability scenario exercise where you imagine a conversation where the other person is like totally losing interest.
Ugh. Happens all the time, unfortunately.
Tell me about it. But in the exercise, you have to figure out how to get them back. Tell a story, change your tone, something. It's great practice for those real-time moments.
It's like that quote, the best way to predict the future is to create it. But in this case, you're creating the future of the conversation.
Okay, I love that. So we're connecting, we're being real, we're adaptable. But what about the actual content of what we're saying? Bassi talks about wise understanding.
Yes, and this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just about knowing your stuff. It's about deeply connecting with your audience on their level. He writes, wise understanding in the context of public speaking is about gaining a profound and insightful grasp of both your topic and your audience.
It's like communication isn't a one-way street. It's about building a bridge to the other person.
Exactly. And to build that bridge, Bassi suggests a dual deep dive.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
So first, you research a topic thoroughly, like really dive deep into it. But then you have to put yourself in your audience's shoes and view that same topic from their perspective.
Okay, that's brilliant. I'm already thinking of topics I want to try that with. And one thing I really appreciate is that Bassi doesn't shy away from the elephant in the room, public speaking anxiety.
Yes. Instead of trying to erase it, he dedicates a whole chapter to overcoming it through acceptance.
Which is such a relief, honestly.
He even frames that anxiety in a positive light, as a sign that you care about your message and your audience.
It's like, well, those butterflies mean you're invested. And I love how he ties this into the idea of legacy. He says every time you speak, you contribute to your legacy as a speaker, regardless of the platform.
It's about the impact you make, big or small.
Yep.
Every word matters.
And that leads us to another key concept from the book, wise intention.
Oh yeah, what does he say about that?
Bassi talks about aligning your words and actions with your values to create that positive impact we're talking about.
It's about being intentional with your message and ensuring that it reflects who you are and what you stand for.
It's like, what's the bigger purpose behind your words? What do you want people to take away from them?
It's a great question. It's like asking, what seeds am I planting with my words?
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of words, Bassi also dives into the idea of wise speech.
Oh, right. So it's not just about like having good intentions. It's about actually choosing the right words to get your message across.
Exactly. He defines wise speech as choosing words that are clear, truthful, and beneficial to both the speaker and the listener. It's about creating a space for understanding and, really resonating with your audience.
So it's about being clear and concise, but also kind and considerate in the way you're speaking.
Exactly. It's about lifting people up with your words, not tearing them down. Reminds me of that quote. Hold on. Speak only if what you are going to say is more beautiful than silence.
Okay, that's going on my motivational poster wall right next to the last one. But seriously, I love that. It's about making your words matter. So wise speech is about the words themselves, but then Bassi talks about wise action, which sounds more, well, action-oriented.
Right. It is. Wise action is about taking those deliberate steps you can to improve your communication skills. It's the offstage work. Practicing, getting feedback, constantly pushing yourself to grow.
So it's that whole practice makes perfect idea, but like applied to communication.
Exactly. Just like any craft, mastering communication takes effort and dedication. Like Bassi writes, wise action in the realm of public speaking is about taking deliberate, thoughtful steps towards honing your craft.
It's about being proactive and really taking ownership of your growth as a communicator. It's funny, I was reading this section and I was thinking about it in terms of public speaking, but it applies to so many things.
Right. Think about it. Learning a new language, playing an instrument, even just being a better friend or partner, it all takes that wise action.
Okay, adding lifelong learner to my motivational wall. So we've covered wise speech and wise action. What about wise livelihood? That sounds pretty deep.
It is. This is where Bassi challenges us to think bigger. He wants us to think about how we can use our communication skills to make a positive impact on the world. It's about aligning your actions with your values and contributing to something bigger than yourself.
It's like finding your voice and then using it to make a difference.
Precisely. It goes back to the idea of legacy. What kind of impact do you want to have? What do you want to be remembered for? Wise livelihood is about using your voice to create positive change.
Yeah, that's inspiring. So it's not just about personal gain. It's about contributing to something larger than yourself. Okay, we've covered a lot. Wise speech, wise action, wise livelihood. Is there a wise effort too?
There is. Wise effort is about consistently putting in the work to improve your communication. It's about perseverance and not giving up, even when things get tough.
We've all been there, those moments when you're like, is this even working? So wise effort is about pushing through those plateaus and doubts.
Exactly. It's about remembering that mastery takes time and dedication. Bassi puts it perfectly. Wise effort, in the context of public speaking, is about applying consistent and focused energy towards improving your skills.
Again, that applies to so many things, whether it's public speaking or anything else you're striving for. Okay, so we're being wise in our speech, actions, efforts, even our livelihood. But what about being wise in the moment, like during a speech?
That's where wise mindfulness comes in. It's about being fully present, both mentally and emotionally, while you're speaking. Bassi defines it as being fully present in the moment and acutely aware of yourself, your message, and your audience.
So it's like quieting that inner critic and being completely engaged with your audience.
Exactly. It's about being aware of your thoughts and feelings, but not letting them distract you from the task at hand. And Bassi provides a simple yet powerful tool for cultivating wise mindfulness. Mindfulness breathing.
Oh, yeah. He talks about taking a few moments before speaking to focus on your breath, taking those deep, slow breaths to calm your mind and sharpen your focus. I've actually tried that before presentations, and it really helps.
It's amazing how such a simple practice can make such a difference. And wise mindfulness isn't just about managing nerves. It's also about being present enough to notice how your message is landing with your audience and adjust accordingly.
So you're not just giving a canned speech, you're having a real conversation, even with a large audience. It's about that connection, just like we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And speaking of connection, Bassi also emphasizes the importance of wise concentration.
Okay, so we're being mindful, now we need to focus. It's like he's giving us the ultimate mental toolkit for effective communication.
He is. He describes wise concentration as honing your focus and directing your mental and emotional energies towards your speech. It's about channeling your energy into delivering a powerful and impactful message.
So it's about cutting through the noise and laser focusing on your message and your audience.
Exactly. And he suggests several techniques for improving concentration, including mindfulness practices, breathing exercises, and visualization.
Ooh, I love visualization. I often imagine myself giving this speech successfully, connecting with the audience, and handling any challenges that might come up. It's like a mental rehearsal.
It's incredibly powerful. Bassi even suggests visualizing potential mishaps, like forgetting a line or a technical difficulty, and then visualizing yourself handling it calmly and professionally.
So you're mentally prepared for anything. It's like having a superpower. Okay, so we're being mindful, focused, and prepared. What other communication superpowers does Bassi have up his sleeve?
Well, he reminds us that even with all the techniques in the world, it's important not to overlook the fundamentals: respect and honesty.
Those seem like pretty basic principles, but I guess even those can get lost sometimes, especially when we're nervous or focused on getting our message across. So how does Bassi define respect and honesty in the context of communication?
He says that respect goes beyond just being polite. It's about honoring your audience's time and presence, recognizing their diverse perspectives, and speaking to them with empathy and understanding.
It's about treating them as valued individuals, not just faces in the crowd.
Exactly. And honesty, he says, is about being authentic, genuine, and true to your values. It's about building trust with your audience by being real and relatable.
So it's not just about telling the truth, it's also about being true to yourself.
Precisely. It's about aligning your words with your actions and letting your authentic self shine through.
I love that. So we're respectful, honest, and authentic. What about truthful expression?
Bassi says, truthful expression in public speaking is more than just factual accuracy. It's about conveying your message with clarity and honesty. It involves aligning your words with your true intentions and beliefs.
So it's about being intentional and purposeful with your words, ensuring that they reflect your true beliefs and values. It's about walking the talk, so to speak.
Exactly. And this ties in with the importance of clear mindfulness.
Okay, so it's like wise mindfulness, but like even clearer.
In a way, it's about being present and aware, but also about being open to feedback and willing to adapt your message as needed. It's about recognizing that communication is a two-way street, and that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is listen.
That's so true. It's not always about having all the answers, but about being open to learning and growing from the experience.
And that brings us to another important point: embracing change. Bassi talks about how the communication landscape is constantly evolving, and we need to be adaptable and willing to evolve with it.
It's like that saying, the only constant is change.
Exactly. And he emphasizes the importance of lifelong learning, of continuously updating your skills, being open to new ideas, and incorporating fresh perspectives into your speeches and communication.
It really is. It's like we're not just communicators, but we're kind of like explorers in this, always changing world of communication.
I like that.
And speaking of exploring, Bassi talks about moving from resilience to like anti-fragility. Have you heard that term before?
Yeah, it's a powerful concept. It's not just about bouncing back from setbacks. It's about actually becoming stronger because of them.
Okay, so it's like instead of just surviving those tough speaking moments, you're using them to like level up your communication skills.
Exactly. In fact, let me see if I can find that quote. It's, in public speaking, moving from resilience to anti-fragility means not enduring the stresses of speaking only, but growing stronger from them, turning challenges into opportunities for improvement.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
Turning challenges into opportunity. It's like turning those I bombed that presentation moments into, okay, what can I learn from this to crush it next time?
Exactly. It's a much more empowering way to look at things.
Totally.
And, this ties in beautifully with another point Bassi makes: valuing each speaking engagement as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Oh, yeah, I remember that part.
It really makes you stop and think, right?
It does. Like even those smaller speaking moments, a team meeting, a presentation to a client, they're all unique.
Absolutely. He says it so well. Those speaking moments are transient. Their impact can be long-lasting. The words you choose, the emotions you convey, and the connections you make can resonate with your audience long after the speech ends.
It's like, wow, okay, pressure's on. But really, it's a good reminder to be present and engaged in every interaction, no matter how big or small.
Exactly. And to approach each opportunity with a sense of generosity.
Generosity. I wouldn't have thought of that in relation to public speaking, but I kind of get it.
Right. It's interesting. Bassi talks about how true generosity in speaking goes beyond just sharing information. It's about offering your knowledge and insights and even your experiences, but with a genuine desire to help your audience.
So it's not about showing off what you know. It's about using your knowledge to actually benefit the people who are listening.
Yes. And he gives this great exercise to try. He suggests reviewing one of your past speeches or presentations. And as you're going through it, ask yourself, were you being generous with your knowledge? Did you offer your audience real understanding and empathy along with the information?
It's a cool way to reflect, like how can I be even more generous in my communication?
Exactly.
This has been amazing. We've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about being mindful and authentic and embracing change and being generous. Bassi's book really does offer a very holistic approach to communication.
It does. It's about so much more than just like standing up and giving a speech. It's about connecting with others on a deeper level.
It's about having those meaningful interactions and using your voice to make a positive impact, which is really what it's all about, right?
It really is.
It's about recognizing the power of our words and using them thoughtfully and intentionally.
And not being afraid to keep learning and growing as communicators.
Yes, it's a journey. And you know what? I think that's something we can all aspire to no matter what.
Absolutely. We all have the potential to be more mindful and impactful communicators, whether we're on a stage, giving a big presentation, or just chatting with a friend.
So well said. And for anyone listening who wants to explore these ideas further, we highly recommend checking out Rohit Bassi's book, Beyond Words, A Journey to Mindful Public Speaking. It is seriously packed with insights, practical tips, and thought-provoking exercises.
It's a game changer for sure.
It really is. And on that note, a huge thank you to you, our amazing listeners, for joining us on this deep dive into the world of mindful public speaking. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
And until next time,
Great.
remember, every conversation is an opportunity to connect, to learn, and to make a difference.